9:16 service to Austin is boarding all customers. All rows at gate 56C.
The airport is packed with people dragging suitcases, carrying gifts, and arguing about delayed flights. The day after Christmas always felt like a hectic time to travel to me. This airport was packed. Ari is asleep on my shoulder as we wait to board. Her curls are wild and warm against my cheek, and every few minutes she lets out this tiny snore that makes the older women in line smile at us. I should be smiling too. I'm going home, back to Malik. But something in my chest feels tight, like a string pulled too hard. I shrug it off as anxiety. I'm starting to feel selfish about my healing journey. I used my silence as a weapon, and I have an eerie feeling I was going to regret it. Before we take off, I pull out my phone and text him, "Hi, dinner tomorrow night at Scalini's, 8 o'clock. I stare at the screen. No typing bubbles. No reply. I remind myself that he's probably with his cousins for the holidays. That was the only family he hung around outside of his mother, and she lived in Paris. His phone could be dead. He could be asleep. I switch over to Tasha's thread. Landing at 9 p.m. Sheraton on Wacker. She responds instantly. Typical Tasha.
Yes, finally. The twins can't wait to see you and Ari. They've been running around the house saying Ari is coming. Ari is coming. Like it's a parade.
I smile, sinking into the familiar warmth her messages always bring. Can Ari spend the night with y'all tomorrow? I'm trying to do dinner with Malik.
Say the word. She can stay all weekend. I know how you get when you ain't seen your man in a minute.
I laugh quietly. Yeah, she's not wrong. The overhead announcement crackles, calling for boarding. I power down my phone and take one more breath before stepping onto the plane. The moment we step into the U.S., the air stings my face. This winter feels just as brutal as the last few years, and I don't mind it. Snowflakes smack against the windows, thick and messy, and the whole city looks like it's been dipped in powdered sugar. Ari is limp in my arms, half asleep and whining into my neck. Everyone looks tired. Hell, I look tired. Outside, the air is cruel, sharp wind, snow whipping sideways. I hurry us into the lift, slamming the door against the cold. The driver glances back.
Rough night to be flying.
Tell me about it. I exhale, buckling Ari in. As he pulls off, I take out my phone. Just landed. Call me when you can. Nothing. I call him and the voicemail automatically kicks in. I try again. Straight to voicemail. A pinch of worry creeps into my stomach. The driver catches my expression through the mirror.
Everything okay?
I nod. Yeah, just tired. I press my forehead to the cold window, watching the city blur by, snow swirling under streetlights, cars sliding slow through slush. This city after Christmas is hauntingly pretty, but tonight it feels lonely. The warmth of the hotel lobby hits me so hard it almost stings. Christmas decorations are still up, of course. Giant red ribbons, fake snow, a huge tree with twinkling white lights. Ari perks up just enough to say, "Mommy, look, big tree." Right before she falls asleep again, I check in, grab the room key, and drag us to the elevator. My legs feel like cement. The room is clean and quiet. Too quiet. I lay Ari on the bed and step into the bathroom to call Malik again. Voicemail, "Hey." I whisper, rubbing my forehead. "I'm here. I really want to see you tomorrow. Call me, okay? Even if you're too busy, let me know." My voice sounds small, unsure, afraid to admit why. I hang up and stare at the phone longer than I should. Ari whines from the bed. "Mommy, cold." I turn up the heat and slide in beside her. She curls up against me, warm and soft, grounding me. For a long time, I just lie there listening to the wind howl against the window, the radiator clicking, the muffled city below. Snow keeps falling, thick and endless. I keep waiting for my phone to light up with his name. It never does. Eventually, Ari falls into a deep sleep, and my eyes grow heavy too. Right before I drift off, a thought presses against me, sharp and cold. Something isn't right. I wake up to white light pouring through the hotel curtains and the heat, clicking loud enough to be annoying. For a moment, I don't know where I am. The sheets feel too stiff, the air too dry, and the room too quiet. Then Ari shifts beside me, her hand flopping onto my stomach, and it all comes back. The flight from Guyana, the snow, the cold, the exhaustion heavy in my bones, and Malik's silence. I reach for my phone before I even sit up. The screen lights up harshly and my eyes sting, but I scan through my notifications. Nothing. No missed calls. No texts. Not even a good morning. My chest tightens. I tell myself it's fine. We got in late. He might be asleep. It's 2 days after Christmas. Maybe he's with family. Maybe his phone died. But then again, I deserved his silence. Maybe. Mommy, Ari mumbles, sitting up with her curls in every direction, rubbing her eyes. Is it morning? I check the time. 12:04 p.m. Damn. We must have been more exhausted than I realized. I force myself to put the phone down and pull myself out of bed. Come on. Let's shower before Auntie Tasha comes to get us. Ari perks up instantly at the mention of Tasha, and especially the twins. We're going to see them today? Yes, ma'am. She squeals and jumps off the bed like she didn't sleep 12 straight hours. I try calling Malik again while Ari brushes her teeth. Voicemail. It goes straight there like the phone isn't even on. My pulse flickers hard, but I steady myself. He's busy, I whisper to the mirror. Stop panicking, Jada. I finish getting ready. Simple makeup, moisturizer, light jeans, and oversized sweater because the city cold likes to slap you for breathing. Then I gather Ari's stuff as she hops around the room, singing some made-up song. By the time Tasha texts outside, I've convinced myself that today I'm not going to worry much. I bundle Ari up, throw on my scarf, and head downstairs. The moment we step into the lobby, the cold air seeps in from the revolving doors and hits me like a memory. This weather is a different kind of disrespect. Snow is falling slow today, big soft flakes drifting like ash. Tasha's SUV pulls up, and the doors fly open. Ari, the twins scream in unison. Ari takes off running into the snow like she didn't just wake up an hour ago. Tasha hops out, already rolling her eyes at the chaos.
Well, look at you.
She says, pulling me into a hug that smells like cocoa butter and peppermint.
Miss World Traveler.
Please, I laugh into her shoulder. I look tired.
You look peaceful.
She corrects.
Like the break did you good.
She doesn't know how quiet my nights were, how long the days felt without Malik's voice, how empty I felt even while trying to heal. I force a smile. Let's go eat. I'm starving. Tasha raises an eyebrow as she pulls away.
And Malik?
My throat tightens. I texted him last night.
And?
He hasn't answered yet. Tasha's expression softens. Too much, and she kind of softness that makes you feel fragile.
Maybe he's busy.
Yeah, I whisper. Maybe. The twins are screaming over which Christmas song should play first. Ari is kicking her boots against the back of the chair. And Tasha looks like she survives motherhood solely through prayer and iced coffee. It's chaotic, loud, messy. It feels like home. She drives us to a cozy spot near the outlet mall, one of those family diners with fogged up windows and waitresses who've been working there since 1998. Snow dusts the sidewalk like powdered sugar, and every time someone opens the door, cold air sweeps in and makes everyone shiver. We cram into a booth made for 4. The twins sit on one side. Ari squeezes between them, excitedly telling them every detail about Guyana, the beaches, the food, the monkey she saw swinging in the trees.
It wasn't no monkey.
Tasha says, squinting at her.
That was a stray dog in a tree.
No, Ari shrieks. It had a tail.
They all got tails.
Auntie Tasha. Ari protests. Everyone laughs. Everyone except me. Because even in the noise, even in the warmth, even with the comfort of curly-haired 6-year-olds shrieking about tree animals, I keep glancing at my phone. The screen stays dark. Tasha notices. She always does.
Did you try calling him?
I nod, pushing my eggs around my plate. When I woke up,
And last night?
yeah, I nod again. She reaches across the table and squeezes my hand.
Okay. But don't let your mind run wild. Y'all had a rough patch. Maybe he's easing back into things.
That's what I'm afraid of. I mean, I know I didn't deserve him and I can be a little insufferable. I whisper. Her face softens.
Girl, if Malik didn't want you, he wouldn't be making it known while you were on a different continent. Stop it.
I want to believe her. God, I do. But the silence feels intentional, heavy, punishing. And I hate that the thought even crosses my mind. Is he doing to me what I did to him? Cold washes through me. I spent months in Guyana not even checking WhatsApp. Then when I got the courage to read his messages, I still didn't answer him. I used my silence as a weapon. Maybe this is karma. Maybe this is him finally giving up. I blink quickly, pushing the thought aside before it swallows me whole.
Let me drop you back off at the hotel. It's already 3. Go take you a quick nap and get ready for your dinner.
I take my time, not because I want to, but because I'm nervous. I moisturize and do my makeup soft but polished. When I slip the dress on, it fits even better than before. I add gold hoops and a Rolex Malik brought me. My black boots match the coat I brought. I stare at myself in the mirror. I look hopeful, stupidly hopeful. Before leaving the room, I take a breath and text him again. I text, heading to the restaurant. See you at 8? Delivered. Still no reply. I tuck my phone into my clutch before I can check again. The upscale restaurant is warm, dimly lit, full of low jazz and tables covered in white linen. The bar is polished mahogany, candles flickering on every surface. I sit on a bar stool, pull my coat off, and order a glass of wine to calm the knot twisting in my stomach. The bartender slides toward me.
Waiting on someone?
I nod. Yeah, 8 o'clock. She glances at the clock.
You've got time.
I smile politely, sip my wine, and check my phone. Nothing. At exactly 8 p.m., I call him. Straight to voicemail.
Hey, it's Malik. Leave it.
I don't speak. I just hang up. Something is wrong. Or I'm being punished. Either way, my throat burns with the effort to stay calm. I order another drink. 1 glass becomes 2. 2 becomes 2.5. The jazz music starts to blur. So does the confidence I walked in with. I glance at my watch with tears in my eyes. At 9:52 p.m., desperation wins over pride. I do something I told myself I'd never do. I call his shop.
Automotive.
A woman answers. My heartbeat stutters. Hi, I say carefully. Can I speak to Malik? Silence. Not background noise, not flipping papers. Just silence. 10 full seconds of it. Then, clipped and cautious.
Who's calling?
Jada. Another pause. Longer. Waited.
1 moment.
She says, voice flat. She puts me on hold. My pulse is a drumline in my ear. Finally.
Jada.
Rick's voice. Tight. Abrupt. Wrong. Yeah, it's me.
Where you at?
He asks immediately. No hey, no explanation. Just that sharp question that slices straight through me. I'm downtown, I say, in Gresham Park. Why? He doesn't answer. Rick. Silence. Then finally, low and tense.
Where can I meet you?
My stomach drops. What? Why? Rick, just tell me where Malik is.
He's out.
The hesitation, the tone, the lie. It hits me like ice water. I close my eyes. Is he with someone? Rick exhales but doesn't answer. That's enough. Never mind, I whisper. And I hang up. The bar feels too hot suddenly, too loud, too full of people living normal lives while mine unravels in slow motion. I finish my drink in 3 rough sips, throw 3 $100 bills on the counter, grab my coat, and walk out into the snow. The cold slaps me instantly, but it sobers me just enough. I call an Uber and head straight to Malik's building. Silent rage burns through me. Not loud, not explosive, just decisive. If he moved on, fine. I want him to say it to my face. I know the last 3 months could have went differently, but I want closure with him face to face. Wine warms my blood, gives me courage I wouldn't normally have. By the time I step into the lobby, I'm done being quiet. I'm fighting for his ass. A new doorman sits behind the desk. I don't recognize him. He smiles politely.
Good evening, ma'am.
I nod, barely acknowledging him, and swipe my key card at the elevator. The light turns green, the doors open, the elevator ride feels eternal. Each floor ding tightens the dread coiling in my chest. When I reach the penthouse level, I punch in the code Malik gave me months ago, before Guyana, before distance, before everything got twisted. The lock disengages with a soft click. Inside, the air hits me immediately, cold, too cold. Something's off. The loft is pitch black except for the faint glow of city lights leaking through the floor to ceiling windows. I step inside cautiously, close the door behind me, and turn on the foyer lights. Nothing is out of place. No shoes by the door, no coat missing, no signs of life at all. I disable the alarm. Then I walk to the thermostat. 62 degrees. He usually never set the stat this cold. His cleaning crew must have done this. A shiver runs down my spine. I check the kitchen, the living room. Everything is spotless, untouched, too untouched. No signs of a bitch, but no sign of Malik being home in the last few hours either. I wonder if he went to France to see his mother. Finally, I walk to the bedroom. The air feels intense here. I hesitate at the closet door. Would he be mad I'm here? Mad I let myself in? Mad I didn't wait for him to answer? Probably. But right now, I don't care. I open the door. The familiar smell of cedar and his cologne hits me instantly, warm, masculine, comforting in a way that makes my throat sting. I step inside slowly. Before I can overthink, I start undressing. The dress falls first. Then the bra, the heels, the jewelry. Every piece of clothing feels like shedding fear, doubt, pride. I grab one of his sweatshirts from the shelf, soft gray cotton, worn at the cuffs. I pull it over my head. Then a pair of his boxers. They swallow me whole. I climb into his bed and sink into his pillows, surrounded by his scent. And despite the warmth of his sweatshirt, I can't stop shaking. Something is wrong. Something is very wrong. The heavy feeling in my stomach won't leave. I curl on my side, pulling the blanket up to my chin. The last thing I remember before sleep drags me under is whispering into the dark, "Please be okay." I woke up disoriented, like I surfaced from the wrong dream. The room felt unfamiliar even though I slept in Malik's bed more times than I could count. The light was too bright, the air too still, the silence too loud. I pushed myself upright, rubbing the side of my face. The space next to me was untouched, smooth, cold. My stomach twisted. I tried to push the feeling away. I needed to clear my mind. I got out of the bed and walked into the bathroom. I splashed cold water on my face until my skin tingled, then grabbed a brand new toothbrush from Malik's stash and brushed my teeth with quick, jittery movements. My reflection looked tense, tired, unsettled. I spat, rinsed my mouth before stepping into the hallway. I walked out into the living room and stopped dead. Rick was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, hands in his pockets, staring out at the skyline as if he'd been there for hours. He didn't turn right away, didn't move until he chose to.
Good morning.
He said calmly, still facing the glass. I don't respond, and I assume my lack of words is why he quietly turns his gaze to me. His face is unreadable as he says,
Welcome home, Jada.
My breath caught. Rick? How? What are you doing here? Instead of answering, he walked slowly to the sofa and sat down, posture straight, hands resting on his knees.
Come here.
I didn't question it, didn't argue. Something in his tone didn't allow space for resistance. I walked toward him, my heart beat loud in my ears, and sat beside him without protest. He studied my face for a moment, then inhaled like he had to prepare himself.
Jada.
His voice was quiet.
I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to stay with me. All right?
My chest tightened. My stomach rolled as I fought nausea. This is bad. This is real bad. Rick and I never sat alone and talked. I fought internally to remain calm and to not start hyperventilating. His eyes didn't soften. His voice didn't waver.
Malik is dead.
The words struck like a physical blow. My mouth fell open, but no sound came out. My heart seemed to stop, then slam painfully back to life. What did you... Rick. No. My throat closed, choking my words. He continued, tone steady and direct.
Leak and Damon got into a fight. Damon pulled a gun on Leak and shot him. A rival shot and killed Damon afterward.
Something inside me shattered. A sob tore out of me before I even felt it coming. My body collapsed forward, hands covering my mouth as uncontrollable cries ripped through my chest. I cried so hard my entire body shook, violent, trembling, unstoppable. My vision blurred. My ribs hurt. My breath hitched again and again like my lungs couldn't function. Rick just stared at me. He didn't touch me, didn't comfort me, didn't move. He seemed taken aback, almost stunned by the force of my reaction. His face was blank, eyes fixed on me as if he didn't know what to do with the sight of my grief. Minutes blurred into each other. I cried until it felt like my insides were being scraped raw. The kind of cry that doesn't sound human because it comes from a part of you that you didn't know existed until something breaks it open. After what felt like 5 minutes, or maybe longer, I couldn't breathe through the sobs anymore. A sharp wave rolled up my throat. I pushed up from the sofa and ran.
Jada.
Rick's voice echoed behind me. I barely made it into the bathroom before I dropped to my knees and vomited into the toilet. My stomach convulsed until there was nothing left but acid and air. I gasped, coughing, gripping the cold porcelain with shaking hands. Tears streamed uncontrollably down my face, my body trembling so hard I could barely stay upright. Rick appeared in the doorway, slow, cautious, still oddly detached. He didn't rush in, didn't kneel next to me. He just stayed there, watching carefully like he wasn't sure how close he should get.
What do you need?
He asked quietly. His voice was low, almost gentle, but not emotional, controlled. I inhaled shakily, wiped my mouth with the back of my trembling hand, and whispered the only name I could manage. Tasha. My voice cracked. Call Tasha.
I will.
Then he stepped out of the doorway, footsteps fading down the hall, leaving me shaking on the bathroom floor. The truth had landed, and it felt like the end of the world. I stayed on the bathroom floor, slumped against the wall, my body trembling from shock. The room felt too small, the air too thin. My stomach was still twisting, my mouth sour, my eyes burning. Somewhere down the hallway, I heard the front door open, fast, urgent, and then footsteps pounding toward me.
Jada.
Tasha's voice cracked before she even reached the doorway. She stumbled in and dropped to her knees beside me, her purse falling from her shoulder, her breath shaking. She didn't ask questions. She didn't wait for an explanation. She pulled me into her arms immediately.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, baby.
The words shattered something inside me. She knew. Rick had told her. My fingers clutched the front of her shirt as if she were the only thing keeping me from collapsing completely. I buried my face in her shoulder, sobs tearing through my chest again, violent and raw. I can't. My voice split. Tasha, I can't.
I know.
She whispered, holding me tighter.
I know. Just let it out. I got you.
Her hands rubbed my back in slow circles, grounding me when everything else felt like it was spinning out of control. My tears soaked through her shirt, my breathing coming in sharp, uneven gasps.
It's okay.
She murmured, rocking me gently.
I'm right here. I'm right here, baby.
Behind her, I sensed movement. Rick standing in the doorway of the hall, silent, watching, detached, like he had fulfilled his duty and nothing more. He didn't step forward. He didn't interrupt. He didn't offer comfort. He simply lingered there, expression unreadable, before quietly stepping away. Tasha didn't notice, or maybe she did and simply didn't care. Her focus stayed completely on me. After several minutes, she guided me up from the floor. My legs felt rubbery, like they might give out any second, but she held on to me, steadying me with her arm around my waist.
Come on. Let's get you to the bed.
I didn't argue. I didn't think. I moved only because she moved me. In the bedroom, she tucked the blanket around me like I was fragile, like I might break apart if she let go too soon. She sat beside me, wiping my face gently with the edge of her sleeve.
You're not alone. I promise.
I curled into the pillows, body trembling, grief clawing through me in waves so sharp they made breathing feel impossible. Tasha stayed. She didn't leave my side, not even for a moment. She held my hand until the shaking lessened. She whispered prayers under her breath. She watched over me like she was afraid something else might happen if she looked away. And I just laid there stunned and devastated, the truth pounding through my chest. Malik was gone, and nothing would ever be the same. The next days passed in a haze that blurred into itself. I stayed in bed. I didn't eat. I barely spoke. Tasha hovered like a ghost, appearing with food I couldn't touch, blankets I didn't need, and soft words I didn't have the strength to answer. I slept little. Most of the time, I stared at the ceiling, replaying the memory of that day. Rick's calm voice, the words that made the world stop. Malik is dead. I had replayed that sentence over and over in my mind, trying to make sense of it, trying to find some corner where it wasn't true, but it was always the same, cold, final, irrevocable. Rick stopped by a few times during those first days. Each time he entered quietly, exchanged a few words only with Tasha, and conducted a quick sweep of the apartment. He never looked at me. After a few minutes, he would leave. His presence didn't comfort or disturb. It simply passed, leaving the apartment feeling heavier somehow. Tasha noticed nothing in his behavior outwardly, but she stayed by my side, the only warmth in the apartment. One day, after I stepped out of the shower, wrapped in a towel and shivering slightly from the lingering warmth, Tasha approached me as I sat on a stool in front of the bathroom sink.
Baby.
She said softly, her voice hesitant, as if afraid to break the fragile silence that had settled between us. Tears welled in my eyes, blurring the world into soft shapes. "I'll never forgive myself for leaving," I whispered, my voice cracking. "I'll never forgive myself for giving him my silence."
You are being too hard on yourself.
She said gently.
We are all flawed individuals, Jada. You both did what you thought was best at the time.
Her hand lingered on my shoulder, comforting, grounding.
Time will heal you, baby.
She added, her voice firm yet tender, carrying a weight of truth I wasn't ready to accept but desperately needed to hear. I closed my eyes, leaning into her touch, letting her words sink slowly into the raw, aching spaces of my heart. Days blurred into one another. I slept fitfully, barely left the penthouse, and let Tasha handle the world outside while I survived inside the quiet walls of grief. Then, one morning, there was a knock at the door, gentle, polite. Tasha opened it.
Jada.
She said softly, then looked over her shoulder. I blinked up at her, trying to understand why she was smiling, half curious, half nervous. When the beautiful woman walked in, I instantly recognized her.
Mrs. Lisa,
she said. I didn't move. My heart thudded against my ribcage as Malik's mother stepped into the room. She was taller than the pictures I've seen of her, carrying herself with quiet authority, her dress pristine, her expression gentle but guarded. She carried a small envelope in her hand. I moved to get out the bed, but she raises her hand slightly.
"Oh no, you do not have to get up,"
she said softly. She walks over and silently engulfs me in one of the most comforting hugs I've had in a long time. She then moves to sit at the edge of the bed. She didn't rush. She simply studied me as if measuring how much of me was left. I struggled to speak. My voice cracked, broke, and faded. "I'm so sorry for your loss, Miss Lisa." She smiles softly, but I see the hurt in her eyes.
"It is nice to finally meet you, Jada,"
she replied, her voice calm, measured.
"I wish it was under different circumstances."
Her eyes softened, and I felt a pang in my chest. "I'm sorry I didn't call. I didn't even think to ask Rick to give me your number. I'm so sorry." She shakes her head, and it silenced me.
"Child, when I received the news about my only child, my mind was far from making calls. Thank God my sister was with me."
My eyes water.
"Malik spoke about you often."
She said quietly.
"More than you might think."
I swallowed hard, trying to keep the lump in my throat from rising. I love him. My voice was barely audible. I didn't get to tell him, Miss Lisa. A flicker of something, pity, maybe, or understanding, passed over her face.
"He knew that," He trusted you, or he never would have allowed you to live with him. He once told me he wanted you to have a place near him if you decided to move out. And I want to honor that.
She handed me the envelope. My fingers trembled as I took it. Inside were papers, documents for a property near here, and a check. I stared at the number $400,000. I can't accept this, Miss Lisa, I whispered.
Yes, you can, and you will. It is what Malik would have wanted.
She said firmly. I looked down at the sheets. My hands shook. I don't know if I can handle this right now.
You do not have to handle it all at once.
She replied gently.
But you will. Slowly. You'll start again. Remember, I've been in your shoes before, sweetheart.
I nodded weakly, letting the truth settle in. Another layer of reality pressing down on me. I had lost Malik, lost my sense of safety. And now, Miss Lisa was reminding me that one day I will have to step out of my grief to rebuild, to move forward. She paused and added, her face unreadable.
About Malik's service. Everything has already been taken care of. It was just my sisters and I. It was what Malik wanted. His final resting place is in Paris, with me. I'll love to keep in touch with you, Jada. Please take care of yourself.
The weight of finality crushed me again. I pressed my face into the pillow, heart pounding, chest aching, and felt tears rise, slow, inevitable, unstoppable. It had been 2 months since I got the news about Malik. 5 months total of waking up each day to an empty bed. 2 months of crying at least once a week, of feeling the hollowness of a life that had been upended without warning. Some days I still couldn't believe he was gone. I could almost hear him walking through the door, hear his laugh echoing in the apartment. But it never happened. Moving out of Malik's penthouse last month had helped, though I hadn't realized it at first. I felt a little lighter, as if the air itself had shifted and given me space to breathe. Tasha had agreed with Malik's mother. I needed to remove myself from his bed, his closet, all the tangible reminders of him that weighed on my grief.
Jada, you need your own space. You can't stay sleeping in the shadow of him. It's time to heal.
And she was right. Malik's mother had gifted me one of her homes nearby, fully furnished and quiet. Everything smelled faintly of vanilla and polished wood. The place was beautiful, sterile in a way, like a canvas I could slowly fill with my life again. For the most part, I had settled into a rhythm. Rick checked in only a handful of times since I moved. He would arrive with an oat milk iced latte, ask if I needed anything, and leave. No lingering, no awkward small talk, just his quiet presence, and then he was gone. I appreciated it. Today was Ari's 6th birthday. Tasha had taken over planning every detail, from the invitations to the indoor water park where the party would be held. She had texted me constantly over the past week, hyping up the slides, decorations, and the dolphin-shaped cake with its tiny sparkling candles. I wanted to be excited, but I felt that familiar tightness in my chest, the one that never really left me since Malik's death. Ari bounced ahead of me, practically vibrating with excitement. "Come on, Mommy," she squealed, grabbing Tasha's hand. Tasha glanced back at me and smiled.
Relax, Jada. Today's her day. Let's have fun.
The moment we stepped into the water park, I could feel the energy hit me. Slides twisted overhead, fountains sprayed unpredictably, and children screamed in delight. The scent of chlorine mixed with sugar and popcorn, creating a dizzying, cheerful chaos. Party tables were covered in pink linens, Balloons floated near the ceiling, and the cake sparkled in the center, candles already flickering. Ari's eyes were wide, sparkling, as she sprinted toward the wave pool. For a few seconds, I let myself forget everything else. Malik, grief, Tasha, and just watch her happiness. And then I saw him, Rick. He shouldn't be here. Why would he be at a children's birthday party and he doesn't have any kids? His posture relaxed, surveying the room like he was already in control, like he already knew how this day would unfold. I froze. My chest tightened. My pulse kicked into overdrive. For a moment, I considered turning around and walking away. I almost did. But something rooted me to the spot, that mix of curiosity. It was something about him I couldn't put my finger on. Then I saw her, the woman from Malik's penthouse. I still didn't know her name. Didn't care to investigate after Malik laid me out across his kitchen island and explained I was his favorite person. Here she was, pregnant, glowing, leaning slightly toward Rick as she laughed. Her hand brushed against his, casual, intimate. My stomach dropped. Recognition hit me instantly. Malik had explained to me months ago that they used to casually sleep together before I moved in. He had promised me he'd cut all contact once I became part of his life. He had even explained how the last time she had shown up at his building unannounced, he had shut her out completely. And now here she was again, visibly pregnant, standing in front of Rick, and for reason their closeness appeared intimate. For some odd reason, a raw knot of jealousy and grief twisting in my chest. I don't know why. Maybe it was because Malik wasn't here, and she appeared to still have a small tie to his world. I could care less about Rick. The woman gives Rick a hug and walks away. He stares after her and doesn't even notice me approaching him from his side. I was 6 feet away from him when Rick's head tilted slightly and his eyes met mine. Calm, unreadable, precise. That's the way he always was, measuring reactions, containing himself, controlling without effort. I swallowed hard. Who is she? My voice was low, trembling with the disbelief I could no longer suppress. His gaze didn't waver.
I'm sure you know who she is.
He said, evenly, deliberately neutral.
I doubt Leek lied to you about who he was fucking.
His words were like a match, and it lit my chest on fire. Yes, I knew of her, but I wanted more. I wanted an explanation, a reason for seeing her touch him the way she did, like she had some claim on him, or on Malik's memory, even indirectly. I wanted to demand her name, and for some reason I felt like Rick knew I wanted more, but he gave nothing. Nothing more than that composed, inscrutable gaze. I felt my hands clench at my sides. My chest heaved slightly. She was Malik's, I finally said, my voice tighter. You know that. Rick's lips quirked in the smallest, almost imperceptible way.
Yes.
He said simply.
I know.
And that was it. No new information. No reassurance. Just that. I wanted to tear myself away, but the pull of his presence, the subtle, insidious control he wielded, kept me rooted. Every move he made, eyes flickered toward her, was calculated. His unreadable gaze at me was a reminder that he could dominate this space without raising his voice. So you have something with a pregnant woman that was fucking your friend? Rick chuckles at that.
So only you should reap the benefits of Leek's hard work, but not the seed he implanted in her.
A shiver, or was it a moan, escaped me before I realized. Heat and anger and something else knotted in my chest. Then, for the first time, I saw something behind his eyes. Amusement. A predator's play.
Thought Leek told you everything.
He said, tilting his head.
Don't tell me you didn't know, Mama.
Tears welled in my eyes when all of a sudden, I was snapped back to the reality that we were here for my daughter's birthday. Ari tugged at my swimsuit cover-up. "Mommy, can we go to the other wave pool?" she asked, oblivious to the tension coiling around me. I forced a tight smile. "Yes, baby. Let's go." But even as we walked toward the slides, I could feel Rick's eyes on us, on me, the quiet weight of his control. It was unnerving and maddening all at once. We reached the wave pool, and Ari ran ahead with her friends, laughing, splashing, squealing. I tried to push the jealousy and unease down, focusing on her joy instead of the pregnant woman, instead of Rick, instead of everything that felt so wrong. When we took a break from the pool, I leaned against the railing, letting the cool air wash over me. The laughter of children and the squeal of the wave machine faded into a dull roar in the background. My chest heaved as I struggled to steady my breathing. This bitch can't be pregnant from Malik. She can't be. I inhale, throw my nose slowly, and exhale through my mouth. Rick hadn't followed us, but I could feel him. His influence was subtle but absolute. The way he positioned himself near but far, the way he held back but didn't leave, the way he let me see him watch me, it was all deliberate. I hated him for it. I hated how he could manipulate the room, the tension, the dynamics without a single raised voice. I took Ari's hand and forced myself to smile. "Time to get some cake," I said. Ari ran ahead, pulling me toward the dessert table, and for a fleeting moment, I let myself enjoy the sweetness of the cake, the sparkle of the candles, the laughter of children. But I knew the moment wouldn't last. Rick's gaze followed me from across the room. Calm, controlled, unreadable, watching.
Do you like it?
Malik asked, his voice low, carrying that familiar confidence that made my chest tighten. I blew out a puff of smoke from the cigar I had just inhaled and exhaled slowly. "Yeah, this is actually good," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady, though my pulse was anything but. He studied me, his eyes locking on mine with an intensity that made my stomach flutter.
"Come here. Come ride me."
I turned to him, a little taken aback, but I felt heat pooling between my thighs instantly. The balcony was quiet, the city lights stretching out below us. I had never done anything this daring before, never let someone fuck me in public. Penthouse balcony was private, but there was another tall building adjacent to ours. Someone could see if they were outside on their balcony. "Out here?" I asked, blowing out another puff of smoke, my nerves tingling.
"Out here.
He said without hesitation.
Right now, I want my favorite girl to ride me."
That was all it took. I set the cigar down in the ashtray and stepped toward him, drawn in like a moth to fire. The air between us seemed to crackle with anticipation. When I reached him, he didn't say a word. He just wrapped an arm around me, pulling me down onto him. No time wasted. My pussy melted onto his dick, and suddenly everything else, the city, the night, the air, disappeared. Being in his arms felt like coming home. I could have stayed there forever. His touch was steady and sure, grounding me even as the rush of desire and tension ran wild through me. He leaned in, brushing my hair back, his lips grazing mine in a kiss that left me breathless. Every kiss, every whispered word, every brush of his hand sent shivers down my spine. I felt untethered, alive, and completely seen. In that moment, I didn't care about the world or the risk. All I cared about was him and the way he made me feel like I mattered above everything else. He held me close and I let myself sink into it, into him, letting every worry fade away. After I climaxed while riding him, it was like I stepped on a landmine. He fucked me every way possible. He laid me flat and ate my pussy. He bent me over the lounge chair and rocked me into ecstasy there. He then sat me on the balcony rail where I yelped in fear.
"You're fine.
You won't fall, Jay.
Leak, put me down. He ignored my protest and pushes into me, and in that moment I didn't care about dying. If I had to die, it was going to be because I felt getting the best dick I ever had in my life. Fuck it. I felt him hearting inside me, one of the best feeling ever. I felt his body tense against mine, and then I woke up gasping. Malik's name was still tangled on my tongue, my thighs pressed together like I could hold the dream there if I tried hard enough. God, it felt real. Too real. His hands on my waist, his breath on my neck, the way he whispered, "Come here, Jay," in that husky voice only I ever got to hear. My skin was hot, flushed, trembling with a memory my body refused to forget. For a moment, I lay there with my palm on my chest, waiting for my heartbeat to steady. But reality hit me fast. My room was dark and quiet. No Malik. No warmth. Just me. Just another morning waking up to an empty bed and the ghost of a man I loved too much. It's been 5 months since I returned home from Guyana, and sometimes it felt like last month. "Damn," I whispered, wiping at a tear I didn't remember letting fall. I forced myself up, swinging my legs off the bed, shaking the last of the dream from my head like water. I had too much to do today to fall apart. The suitcase on my floor was half-packed, clothes spilling out like they were trying to escape. Turks and Caicos. My birthday trip. We were leaving tomorrow. I started folding clothes, placing them neatly into the suitcase as if neatness alone meant my life was under control. When Tasha told me last week about the trip, I swear I thought she was joking. In attendance was Tasha, her husband Sean, their twins, Carmen and her crew, Rick and his date Tammy, me and Ari. At first I'd said, "Tasha, that's too much." Way too much. She looked at me like I personally offended her.
Girl, please. You don't do anything but cook, clean, take Ari to school, and read books. You need this trip. You deserve something fun for once.
And she wasn't wrong. I hadn't been back to work since coming home from Guyana after Christmas, since hearing Malik was gone. I was finally going back to school in the fall, full time. Just thinking about it made my stomach flutter with a mix of nerves and excitement. I looked down at my cell phone when I heard the text notification. The text confirmed that me and Ari therapy appointment was rescheduled for when we returned from our trip. I started going back to therapy after Ari's birthday party, and Ari started going as well. She didn't show any major signs of grief, but her teacher stated she made comments in school about her daddy and Malik. She didn't say anything alarming to her teacher. She just stated that she misses them and she knows they are living with angels now. Those were the only two men Ari ever been around her entire life. And I wanted to make sure she had the proper mechanism to navigate her feelings. I placed Ari's swimsuit on top of the pile and zipped the suitcase halfway. My mind, annoyingly, drifted to Rick. I'd cut him off after Ari's birthday in February. Just stopped answering. It wasn't like he'd been deeply involved in my life anyway. After Malik died, he popped in a few times, dropped off coffee or food, checked on me, called here and there. But when he told me, almost gleefully, that Malik had a baby on the way, nope, absolutely not. I didn't care if it was true or not. I wasn't ready to hear anything like that, especially not from him. So I ghosted him, and he stayed gone, mostly, until last month. I groaned at the memory and kept packing, because reliving that awkward mess wasn't on my to-do list. Tasha had invited me to a little dinner party at her house. I walked in, set down my purse, walked into the backyard, and almost choked on my own spit. Rick was there, with a date, smiling like he belonged. I pulled Tasha aside so fast. Why is he here? She blinked like it was obvious.
Girl, Sean and Rick are thick as thieves. You ain't know?
No, I definitely didn't know. And I didn't tell her why it bothered me. Didn't tell her what Rick said to me. Didn't tell her I hadn't spoken to him in 2 months. Halfway through the night, he found me.
Jay,
he said quietly. I didn't even look at him. What?
I just wanted to apologize
For what?
for upsetting you. I didn't mean it like that.
It's whatever. I shrugged. I moved past him like air. But later, during a card game, liquor was pouring and the sight of couples playing cards and drinking triggered me. Who knew something that small would trigger me? I was feeling warm from the wine, and I felt my tears prick my eyes. I slipped away down the hallway to cry, not loud. Just quiet tears I couldn't stop. Rick found me again. He didn't ask what was wrong. He didn't say anything. He just pulled me into a tight hug, and I didn't fight him. We didn't talk after, but things settled. A silent truce. Now it was May, and we were all heading to Turks for my birthday. Being in Turks felt like stepping into a warm dream. The water was impossibly blue, the sun hot and soft on my skin. Ari was living her best life from the second we landed, splashing in the waves with the twins, screaming every time a little fish swam by her ankles. Carmen's daughters made sandcastles. Sean roasted everybody. Tasha drank frozen margaritas like she had stock in them. And Rick, he was different here. Looser, laughing more. Even with Tammy on his arm, his eyes drifted sometimes. Never long enough to make a scene, but enough for me to notice. I pretended not to. We jet skied, swam, took pictures, and somewhere between the saltwater and sunshine, something in me began to lift. I felt lighter, almost like myself again. Dinner for my birthday was at a gorgeous oceanfront restaurant. When we walked up, the staff led us down a pathway lined with lit torches. And then I saw it, a huge glowing sign, tall and elegant, lit in soft gold, Jada. My hand flew to my mouth. What? Oh my God, Tasha practically screamed.
Surprise. Happy birthday, bitch.
I laughed, emotional and overwhelmed. Tasha, this is beautiful. Inside, the table was covered in candles and flowers and ocean breeze. Everyone was laughing, loud, tipsy, full of joy. Then the gifts came out. I opened Carmen's first, a Tory bag. Tasha's, an entire spa package. Sean handed me perfume and winked at me. Then I picked up the long black velvet box. When I opened it, the entire table reacted at once. At least 10 carats sparkled back at me. I can tell from eyeballing it. In my 2 years of working at a jeweler's, it had to be at the very least 10 carats. A diamond tennis bracelet. Sean whistled.
God damn, girl.
My jaw dropped. Oh my God! Who is this from? Rick leaned back in his chair, casual, sipping his drink.
Happy birthday, Mama. You deserve it.
My stomach flipped, not in a romantic way, just confused, hot, a little startled. He called me Mama at Ari's party. I didn't think anything of it then, but now it felt different. Tammy sat next to him grinning like a Cheshire cat, and that confused the hell out me too. This bitch was cool with him gifting another woman this type of gift? Rick? I whispered, still stunned.
Put it on. It'll look good on you.
He said simply. I slid the bracelet onto my wrist. It sparkled like it knew it belonged there. Thank you, I said softly. It's beautiful. He nodded like he already knew. The rest of the trip went by in warm waves of laughter and sunlight. Kids playing, adults drinking, long beach walks, late night games. Everyone relaxed and happy. And for the first time in a long time, so was I. The glow of the Turks and Caicos sun was still lingering on my skin, even though we'd been home for 2 days. Tasha and I were tucked into a small booth at a restaurant in the city, dim lights and soft jazz wrapping around us. I kept turning the diamond tennis bracelet on my wrist, letting it catch the candlelight. It was beautiful, too personal. Tasha watched me fidget with it for the 10th time.
Okay, sis. Spill? You've had that same weird-ass look since we got back.
I sighed, deep and heavy. What do you think about Rick? Tasha shrugged.
Rick is Rick. He's weirdly quiet, but he's thoughtful, loyal. I think it's nice he looks out for us.
How did Rick become friends with Sean? Like when? How did they meet? Tasha sips her drink.
Rick met Sean literally when we came over to check on you one day at the penthouse. During the early days when you wouldn't get out of bed, he and Sean sat and watched a playoff game together while I was lying down in bed with you, and the rest is history. They go out together to sports bars and stuff. They actually have a lot in common. Sean is glad to be a listening ear to Rick, you know. He lost a best friend too.
I looked down at the bracelet again, and the gift? Tasha grinned.
Girl, I'm jealous. That bracelet is crazy. Who knew Rick had taste? And generosity, Tammy was sitting up there smiling with not an ounce of jealousy oozing from her. Her little situationship with him must be paying off tenfold.
It just feels off, I said, finally meeting her eyes. Him and I aren't even close. And I've been ghosting him since Ari's birthday party. Tasha paused mid-sip.
What happened?
I swallowed hard, the memory rushing back like a slap. Rick told me some woman was pregnant by Malik. Tasha choked.
Bitch, what? And you're just telling me this now?
I didn't want to believe it. My voice cracked. Malik and I talked about her. Whoever she is, he made it sound like she was nothing. Someone from before me. It never felt real. And when I saw her, I don't know, something just didn't match.
What's her name?
I don't know.
How far along is she?
I don't know that either. She was at the water park and she looked pretty far along. She definitely had the baby by now. I rubbed my forehead. And I haven't asked Miss Lisa. Every conversation we've had since she visited me has been short, kind, but short. I don't know how to randomly bring up something I'm not even sure I believe. Like bitches lie about who they baby daddy is all the time. Does she even know Malik is the daddy for sure? Tasha went quiet, her expression softening.
Well, Malik's gone, and he loved you. He made sure you were taken care of. So, does a mystery child really matter now, when he's not here to explain it?
The question didn't comfort me. It just hollowed my chest a little more. I didn't answer. I just looked past her into the dim restaurant, listening to glasses clinking and forks scraping plates. Eventually, dinner ended. I hugged Tasha goodbye in the parking lot, promising to call when I got home. But I didn't drive home right away. I sat in my car for a long time, staring at the bracelet, turning it, like the shine might explain something. When I finally drive home, the house was dark, quiet. I showered, slipped into bed, and stared at the ceiling. Tonight is one of them nights I hope Malik visited me in my dreams. I closed my eyes. Eventually, exhaustion pulled me under. I couldn't know that while I slept, someone watched. That somewhere across the city, a hidden door slid open. That screens lit up. Screens showing my driveway, my living room, my kitchen, my hallway, my bedroom. Screens showing me curled up, breathing softly, completely unaware. I didn't see the man who sat down in front of those monitors, his face unreadable, eyes locked on the feet of my sleeping body. I didn't hear him whisper goodnight. I didn't see the flicker on one of the screens, a glitch revealing a brief flash of Malik's auto shop cameras, a timestamp memory that Rick shouldn't have. I only slept. Wrapped in sheets I thought were mine, in a house I thought was safe, under a bracelet that suddenly felt too heavy for my wrist. Unaware. Completely, horrifyingly unaware.
I know you are hurting, and that's okay. Take it out on me and fuck me.
What the fuck is it about you, Jada? Tell me.
I can't.
I hate that I didn't get you first.
It appears there's a Judas among you, son.
Use me. Sit on my face.
I will always want him. I will always love him.
Under all that anger and pain from betrayal, after all your brain and body has been through, you are still consumed with love. And even though it's not me that you love, I believe you're one of the best men I ever met.